Hello and welcome to my ITM presentation. As Bill Gates, one of the world's most renowned ITM developers, once said, information technology and business are becoming inextricably interwoven. I don't think anybody can talk meaningfully about one without talking about the other. This clearly states how significant ITM is in today's society. Today, I will be sharing with you some new key terms that are crucial to the development of the Internet and cyber world. I will discuss the term Internet of Things, cloud computing, computer hardware, and open source. Although you may not have heard of all these concepts, I guarantee that you have used them, or at least will use them in the immediate future. First off, we'll discuss the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is a computing concept that describes a future where everyday physical objects will be connected to the Internet and be able to identify themselves to other devices. There's no doubt that we'll come to the Internet of Things soon or in the very near future. Anything in the world can be connected with an IP address, whether it be basic household appliances like washing machines, refrigerators, lighting systems, sprinklers, or even animals so we can monitor their well-being. Any device has the capability of being marked with an IP address and tracked online. There are abundant benefits stemming from the Internet of Things. For example, all these objects labeled on the screen could be controlled from anywhere in the world, allowing the user to use or not use certain appliances in order to most efficiently utilize them. Second, it will help improve individual health and everyday life. Scientists believe we will one day be able to connect the human body to Internet of Things, so we can monitor our health and know when something is wrong so we can get help immediately. The next topic we will discuss is cloud computing. Cloud computing is the practice of using a network of remote servers hosted on the Internet to store, manage, and process data, rather than a local server on a personal computer. And there's no doubt that saving on the cloud is the future. This is a picture of one of Google's data servers, where all the data from the cloud is stored. And throughout all of Google's data centers, they can store 10 exabytes of data. And just to put it in perspective, 1 exabyte can hold 100,000 times the printed material of the Library of Congress. So 10 exabytes is massive. And these are the locations for all of Google's data storages all over the world. As you can see, it's mostly concentrated in North America and Europe, but as the world grows, so will the data storages. One of the benefits of cloud storage is how you can access it. Any electronic device with internet capabilities has the ability to access cloud, whether it be a smartphone, a tablet, a computer, or even a TV. And some other benefits of cloud storage versus hard drive storage is that it obviously takes up zero of your own personal space. And you also can't lose the information you stored. Once it's up in the cloud stored in the data services, they have it more secure than most of any hard drives ever made. And the most important feature is that you have access to the same information from any device all over the world. The next topic we'll discuss is the computer hardware. And computer hardware refers to the physical parts of computers. For example, the monitor, screen, keyboard, mouse, and speakers. Now, as a basic timeline of computer hardware, you can see how far the human society has become. The top picture on the left is the picture of the first computer ever made. Now, that massive unit barely stored any data. However, now, as you can see, the slick-looking PC on the bottom is much smaller and also has much greater features, being able to store as much data as you ever want. And Apple is the company who's been on top of this piece of work for decades. They invented the first computer, making advancements ever since through the iPod, iPad, iPhone. They were always on top of creating new and improved computer hardware. And all hardware devices must have the same basic storage unit, and it was created by John von Neumann, and he claims that all hardware devices must begin with an input that goes into an accumulator or processor, and from there runs between a control unit and a memory device, which finally produces an output. And all computer hardware devices have this same basic setup. And the final topic I'll be discussing today is open source. And open source refers to a computer program in which the source code is available to the general public for use and/or modification from its original design. Open source code is typically a collaborative effort where programmers improve upon the source code and share the changes within the community so other members can improve on it as well. As you can see here, previous closed source soft hardwares limit the user to growing their knowledge. Once you buy the software from a closed source, you can't change it. However, from open source, you can see that anybody has access to it, anybody can change it, anybody can use the codes, and it's just a much greater way of going about business. Linux is the greatest example of open source collaboration. Created by Linus Torvalds in 1991, Linux was designed as a basic operation system and has become the most widely used operating system in the world today. Here's the basic setup of Linus's Linux, and as you can see, closed source hardware is limited to that most inner circle. You can't go about that. However, Linux utilizes a thing called the kernel, and that kernel is the updates of everyone from around the world. The company takes in their modifications and forms the best ones and adds new kernels year in and year out. And on top of that kernel, users can continue to modify Linux and change it to their own way, creating the most advanced operating system in the world. And technology is continuing in uncharted waters, as you can see. The Internet of Things, the cloud, and open source are all the future, and computer hardware continues to adapt to these concepts. These four topics are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to technology. It will be interesting to continue tracking the advancement of technology in the computer world. No one knows where we will end up, but the journey will be exciting along the way.